Fuck. Sup internet, my name's Ash and welcome back to another video. So this is gonna be the final video to this whole like little miniature series where I started on making a Minecraft cosplay. So it started off with me making the complete costume to Wilbur Soot Cosplay from the Dream SMP. Then I filmed a little promo. And so this final thing was supposed to be a sort of prop. I like doing props. Anytime I do cosplay, I want to have a prop with that character to be like, yeah, I get this reference, or, you know, I just feel like they should have something with them. And that was a TNT block. So there's a lot of things that you could do with making a block. I think you could probably make it out of foam. Most likely you can make it out of foam. And most people, when I see them do the blocks, they do it out of small blocks. But most people use wood. So my room is crowded with a big-ass bed. I hardly have enough room for anything else. And now I was adding this huge block to my room. So I wanted there to be a little bit more use for it besides just a block that I can sit on. So I have a fuck ton of shit. And people suggested, why not make your box into a storage box? That way you can just put your shit in there and actually, you know, have it be useful instead of it just being a random TNT block in your room. And then when you're doing cosplays and photo shoots and stuff, you can do that. Which was a great idea in hindsight. Now, looking back on it, probably not the best idea. I don't think I'm really gonna bring this around anywhere because I measured it. It comes out to like 20 pounds, roughly. Carrying that box all the way there, because I didn't put it in the car. I carried it all the way to a park and then took photos of it. It was not a fun experience. So most likely it's just gonna stay in my room as a cool sort of like home deco storage box. So starting off, I knew I wanted this to be about 16 inches. 16 inches, which is just a little bit over a foot. If I was to redo this, I would make it smaller. So I have a little experience already. I have made bookshelves and I have made little boxes. Let me see if I can find my little box. No, you can't leave this bed. You're not allowed to leave the bed. Because I know how to make a box, I wanted to do it again. I wanted to do this, but larger scale. And originally, I wanted to put hinges on it so it can open like this and be really cool and fancy. But after a little bit of talking with my dad, we realized it would have looked a little weird because there was always going to be this kind of gap in between it, and I didn't really want that. I wanted it to be flush. This isn't flush at all because this is a middle school nightmare. I mean, look at this. Instead of doing it that way, because I wanted it to be flush, that way I could paint it that way it looked like a real block, like an actual like block without having that weird like hip on it. I decided to do what I did with this block, which is basically take these little extra pieces of wood. I don't really know what to call them. Take these little pieces extra of speak. Not whatever that was. So we took these little pieces. We did this. I just give up halfway through. Yo, shout out to those who took speech therapy who don't try anymore. Made the measurements. I was always taught in woodshop to measure out before you do anything, and as I was measuring out, my father gave me lovely advice telling me that that wasn't necessary.
What are you doing?
B-roll. There'll be some sarcastic voiceovers.
And so that whole time of me measuring out with a Sharpie was all for nothing. We went downstairs, he asked me how long and how wide I wanted it.
Are we ready? Are we
ready.
good to go?
Yes.
Are we filming?
We are filming.
So, there's a ruler on the table. See? See how it says
I
zero?
can see the ruler.
See it touching the blade?
Okay,
Now
I get
watch
that.
this. How big you want it?
You said 16.
You bring the mark to 16.
Okay, but listen, right?
If you want to double check it, that's what a ruler's for. We grab the ruler and look. Do you want it exactly at 16? Then we got to compensate for the thickness of the blade, which is about a 1/16 of an inch. which is right there.
Okay, but understand,
Which is actually 2/16 of it.
I have gone into woodworking shops, and they've always told me that I needed to plan out my cuts. That I couldn't just do one cut and
Good
go.
idea. Good idea. But we'll make it easier.
Went down to the basement, and I accidentally broke my dad's machine. I feel really bad about that.
So we put the lovely board on the saw. Lift the red switch. Don't break it. It's a safety feature.
But we ended up cutting the wood. And then once we cut it out, we started putting the walls together to see roughly how it would lay out and how we would want, you know, the bottom to be compared to the top. Do we want it on the outside, inside, all that fun jazz. And after kind of really figuring that out, both me and my dad spent time gluing it down and then taking some, they're not staples, they are nails! So glued it down, nailed it down, and then it took some time to obviously just let it dry. And once that all dried, the next step was obviously to grit it out and paint it.
So I'm measuring this out so I can get started and paint it to put the pixels on it. I measured it, so I need to get basically 16 by 16 in order for this to look decent. So I measured it out an inch because this is 16 inches lengthwise. And it's supposed to be 16 inches widthwise, but it's not. It's a little bit under. It's like 15 and like 6/8, which is not fun because it'll make sure that everything here is an inch all the way to this one. And having this one look so small compared to this, it's not by much. It's literally, it's not by much. It's literally 2/8 and it would look complete. I've been trying to measure it out, but I don't know what the equation is for that. And I am getting quite pissed off that I don't know what the equation is for it. It's infuriating me. I know there's an equation out there, obviously, for this, but I don't know what it is. This is a little bit more frustrating than the cosplay. This is a little more frustrating than the cosplay, and the cosplay was a little frustrating. Not that it's bad, not that it's bad, but this is kind of the things that I don't feel like people really post about when they talk about their stuff, is how frustrating a project can get. So I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna try and figure it out. If not, then I'm probably just gonna deal with it being slightly off. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet.
There's probably people out there who would be like, yeah, this is not a problem. For me, it was. It's not a box. It's slightly a rectangle. It's like almost box form, but it didn't fully like fill out the application to be a box. Something we figured out later is that if you just take a piece of paper and do that like elementary school thing where you fold it into like who knows how many times till you get like a certain amount of rows, if it's an even number, you can fold it up to like 15 or however you're supposed to fold it up to, and then make 16 rows on that paper, and then just tape that paper to the box, and then you can just follow through and just do the same thing on the other side. So it took a bit of time, but we finally got it all gridded out. I swear that took me at least a week in itself. Then it was to paint. Most people who do this paint with regular paint, and I would suggest doing regular paint instead of what I did, because for the most part what I did was use spray paint just because it's quicker, and I really wanted to get this video out, and I thought that it would be a lot easier to use spray paint comparatively. And not that it wasn't, but there was a few times where things would blow out, or you really had to focus on, you know, lightest colors to darkest colors, because you can always color over the lighter colors. This is not fun. Do not suggest. Because later, once everything was done, I had to go over it again with a paintbrush to really touch it up. And I didn't do a great job. There's parts and points where the color isn't even there and I used a separate color just because I ran out of spray paint. Just so you don't run into the same problem and you were going to use spray paint, I would buy 2 of every spray paint instead of just 1 kind of every spray paint. Wasn't that anything part of this project was hard, it was just very time consuming. Because you would have to take all the blue tape and you would have to look at a photo and you would have to tape it down. You make sure you had all of it and then do that. You gotta spray paint it, let that dry, then you gotta take all the tape off, then you gotta do it all again. And you're just repeating that process over and over and over again. But each time you do it, it is probably the most satisfying thing. I have some stuff with like little updates throughout about, you know, like getting to different parts, which I'll put somewhere in here, but it's very satisfying to just peel it off and just see the whole product and what it's getting into. But it was really fun, and now I'm really happy that I have it. I don't like that I have to carry it around, but it's really cool for photo shoots because it really looks like, it just looks like it's not supposed to be in the world. Like if I was to give you this box, you'd be like, yes, this is a box. This is a stupid box, but it is a box nonetheless. So yeah, this is the whole video to kind of making a TNT prop for the Wilbur Soot Cosplay, and this is gonna be the end of this like little 3 video trilogy sort of thing that's going on. I really loved working on this project. It had its moments where it was frustrating, but overall I enjoyed it. I now have cosplays that I can use in other events, and it's just really awesome to see your guys' comments and see how much you guys also really like the cosplay and how you guys were also able to take this adventure with me. But if you guys want to see any other cosplays from any more characters from the Dream SMP or any other fandom, leave it in the comment section. I would love to see what you guys want to see, because I have no problem making more videos like this, of doing a little like promo, a little teaser, then to have the actual cosplay, and then probably do a prop for them. That would be really cool. That would be a really cool thing to do, and a thing that I would want to continue with this channel, just because it seems like everyone enjoys it so much. And who knows? I mean, I'm kind of into the whole Dream SMP fandom at the moment. That's kind of been the thing that I've been sticking to. So, yeah, I have some ideas of some people that I want to be. Some certain characters. Certain characters. I can't quite remember which ones at the moment, but I would love to do more. So, end of the video time. Time to show you all those cool photos and all those weird videos of me in cosplay. So I guess it's time for photo shoot time. Hell yeah, I'm making that a thing. It's not going away. You probably want it to. I did not mean to bounce.
You did it.
I did it.
How do you feel? Look at your TNT.
I'm gonna go bomb my own country.
You have fun, Wilbur. Look at him. So proud. So tired. Did it work?
Yeah, I fucking died.
Oh no! Oh no!
Resurrection.
Your hat!
Yeah, there's our TNT block. Ready, secret?
Whoa!
That's where I hide my cookies.
That's where you hide your cookies?
Don't tell Tech now.
I'm going to tell Tech now.
Don't.
What if I do?